Sing it for me.
G.I. Joe.
A real American hero.
American
G.I.
hero.
Joe is there. G.I. Hopefully people aren't tuning out just by watching us.
They might. Yeah, that might have just killed our entire enterprise here.
We're going to look at Series 1 of the 1980s G.I. Joe craze, I guess you could call it.
Oh, sure.
But in order to understand that fully, we really have to go back and look at the original creation of G.I. Joe, which goes way back to 1964. That's right, 1964.
Yep.
At Hasbro, and it owes its start to Barbie. In 1959, Mattel released their first Barbie doll.
And had a huge effect on the
Oh
toy
my
industry.
God, it changed the toy industry. Girls clamored to get the Barbie doll.
There was clamoring, I heard.
There was clamoring. That's what happened in the 50s, clamoring.
Clamoring.
I mean, really, there were probably no toy stores at that time, right? They were probably like
Department
Woolworth.
stores. I'm sure there were toy stores.
I don't know.
Not like chains.
No, but like local toy stores.
stores.
Yeah, we had Smile and Sunny over here for years and years and years. You would think Hasbro would have been interested in a similar toy for boys, but they didn't at first. Stan Weston approached Hasbro in 1962, just 3 years after Barbie came out, with the idea for a 12-inch military doll for boys. The CEO at the time, Merrill Hassenfield, did not like the idea at all. You know why?
No.
He felt Hasbro was not into the market of dolls. They were making Mr. Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head was their big
funny
thing.
to know what Hasbro is now.
They didn't
figures.
They didn't want to make dolls.
No, thank you.
Mr. Potato Head ruled Hasbro at
That's
the
like
time.
all Hasbro does now.
I know. And isn't at that time, isn't Mr. Potato Head just like the things you actually put on a potato?
Yeah.
Like originally,
Yeah, it
was
might have just
the
been a potato.
accessories and you put them on the potato.
Yeah.
Which is a weird idea for a
Well,
toy.
he might have
right?
been plastic by the 60s, right?
What year does he come out?
I don't know. We'd have to do some research.
We'll have to do a Mr. Potato
Mr.
Head
Potato
episode.
Head,
I don't
yeah.
know that much about the history of Mr. Potato, but I know
No.
that he said no because he was banking on Mr. Potato Head.
He was a potato head.
Luckily for Weston, someone at Hasbro thought that this was a great idea. Don Levin,
and lucky for us in a lot
for
of
us, yes. Don Levin, who was head of Hasbro's R&D, that's research and development,
Oh, okay.
saw that this could be a hit with the boys in the United States. When CEO Hassenfield went on vacation, they waited for him to go on vacation. Really?
I love these stories.
Levin made a mock-up with some military uniforms, and Hassenfeld loved them when he came back.
Yeah.
Hasbro offered Weston, the guy who created G.I. Joe, two options on the idea.
Okay.
$50,000 up front, plus 1% of revenue on all G.I. Joes sold. Or $100,000 cash for a buyout.
I don't like where this is
What
going.
do you think he picked?
I don't like where this is going. I'm going to guess he went for $100,000 buyout.
He went for $100,000 buyout. I can't even calculate how much money he must have lost at that time.
1% of all G.I. Joe
Of
sales?
all G.I. Joe sales from Hasbro.
Oh.
From inception to today.
Oh. I would settle right now for 0.1% of what G.I. Joe
Imagine
does.
I just can't imagine Dan Levin's family now.
Right? They must be like, oh my God. They took down all the pictures of him.
You cost us, I mean, millions, right? Millions.
Oh my God.
The first thing they did when Hasbro created G.I. Joe was they got rid of the name doll. They didn't like dolls being sold to boys.
Right.
They actually created the term action figure for G.I. Joe.
Yeah, that's where the term comes from. Yeah.
Any idea what the G.I. stands for in G.I. Joe?
Absolutely not.
It stands for General Issue.
Oh.
Know where they got the idea from?
Nope.
A 1964 Robert Mitchum movie called The Story of G.I. Joe.
Oh, I like Robert Mitchum.
Me too. So in 1964, G.I. Joe started with tons of uniforms and accessories.
G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
G.I. Joe attack! Boom, boom! G.I. Joe takes the hill! Bam, bam! Horrific battle!
Terrific equipment to have a battle with. When you get G.I. Joe and the authentic G.I. Joe equipment, you'll have the greatest realism, the greatest fun you ever had in playing soldier. Box after box of authentic uniforms and equipment, so you can change your G.I. Joe soldier into a camouflage Marine ready for battle, a Navy frogman with complete scuba suit and inflatable life raft, an Air Force pilot with high-altitude helmet and air vest. Get G.I. Joe and get G.I. Joe equipment, so you can set up exciting battle action whenever you want. Remember, only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
The line sold great for many years, then saw a decline during the Vietnam War.
Can I just throw in something?
Of course.
G.I. Joe works on the same model as Barbie.
Yes.
Which is brilliant.
Brilliant idea.
You buy one doll.
Yep.
I'm sorry, action figure.
You're right. We don't use the doll name anymore.
We buy one action figure and then buy lots of outfits for that
money's in the accessories.
On a high markup, because the outfits are cheap to make.
That's right.
And you could sell them at a high price.
So a kid only needs to buy one doll.
Yeah.
And then goes out and gets equipment,
I'm going to
uniforms.
I'm going to need the spy outfit,
weapons,
the scuba outfit, the sailor outfit.
Yeah. It's a great model.
It's a brilliant plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that can bring them down is America itself.
America.
So the Vietnam War hits, and war toys just aren't as popular as they should be. So what does Hasbro do with G.I. Joe at the time?
Get rid of him.
No. They give him an honorable discharge out of the military, and he joins up with the counterculture group, the Revolution Fighters for Peace and the Environment.
I didn't know that.
They did.
Okay.
The line was renamed G.I. Joe Adventure Team.
I knew that. But I had no idea he was part of
he was part of
Cultural Revolution.
A counterculture revolution, fighting for peace and protecting animals and the forest.
Sounds like he's a Maoist
Well,
who worked for the Cultural Revolution.
This is what happens.
Yeah, okay.
This is when he gets the famous Kung Fu grip.
Ah, yes.
And
a beard, right?
And a beard, that's right. Fuzzy beard.
Yep.
But he's not done yet. He has another hurdle to overcome. The oil crisis.
Yes.
In 1978, G.I. Joe dies.
Because the 12-inch dolls were very expensive to make because of petroleum.
So a lot of Mego gets killed at this time too. G.I. Joe the same way.
Yep.
1978 saw the last 8.5-inch G.I. Joe figure. In the 1980s, with a growing pro-American movement
caused by President Ronald Reagan.
There you go. Hasbro decides to bring G.I. Joe back. This time he would be much smaller. Like Star Wars figures.
Right.
3 3/4 inches tall.
Yep.
That's not the only influence from Star Wars. Hasbro decides Joe was going to have a sci-fi space theme.
He definitely did. Somewhat.
Most of the bigwigs at Hasbro hate this idea of a sci-fi G.I. Joe. So some changes were made, and Hasbro mocked up some existing figures to create the line. You want to guess what figures they used?
Star Wars figures?
Nope.
Mego figures from Black Hole?
Mego figures from Chips.
Oh!
They mock up the 3 3/4 Chips figures, and they make G.I. Joe figures.
Okay.
In order for the line to succeed, it needed some help. So Hasbro reaches out to Marvel Comics to create a comic series. Marvel puts the great
Larry Hama
in charge of creating G.I. Joe. Hama was not happy. Nobody works on toy books unless you're a total loser, he's quoted for later on saying.
It's insane compared to
what he really became famous for. Hama actually used an existing idea he called Fury Force, which was about Nick Fury's son taking over like a military thing.
Sure.
Hasbro bankrolled $3 million to do a series of animated commercials for the comic series.
She's been kidnapped by Cobra. We have no alternative. Call in G.I. Joe.
Fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. He never gives up. He'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe.
Who's leader of the Joe team? Buck.
As America's best, he's in control. He's the man.
Good luck, Joe.
He wins his day. The legend of G.I. Joe.
The Legend of G.I. Joe. New from Marvel Comics.
But Joe needed an enemy.
Right.
Marvel editor Archie Goodwin came up with the idea for Cobra. So back then, with the 8-inch ones, they didn't have an enemy.
Right, yeah, sure. He just went on adventures.
That's right.
Yeah, with the enemy possibly
Dated
being
Barbie.
imagined.
Dated Barbie.
Yeah, he had deeds with Barbie.
His enemy was Ken.
Oh, he would have done a number on Ken.
Marvel also thought that G.I. Joe at this time should not be variations of a single character, that there should be a whole unit of soldiers, and these soldiers would be fighting Cobra.
Yeah, this is what really sells the line, I think.
Each of
you have these specialists.
Each of these soldiers has their own code name and their own specialties.
Yep.
And the characters are all designed by Larry Hama.
Right. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
But there's another roadblock ahead. The release was delayed by a year because of two things. The Empire Strikes Back and a second oil crisis.
Which stops petroleum imports. You can't make plastic.
You can't make plastic. You can't make G.I. Joe.
Right.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there.
It's here, the G.I. Joe collection. Infantry trooper, codename Grunt. Bazooka soldier, codename Zap. Motor soldier, codename Short Fuse. Laser rifle trooper, codename Flash. Ranger, codename Stalker. Communications officer, codename Breaker. Machine gunner, codename Rock and Roll. Counterintelligence, codename Scarlet. Commando, codename Snake Eyes. Each sold separately. G.I. Joe from Hasbro.
Finally, in 1982, G.I. Joe, a real American hero, hits toy shelves, and it was a blockbuster hit.
Those figures were so cool.
They were. Series 1 was made up of 16 figures known as the straight-arm figures. They didn't move at the joint here yet.
They didn't have the swivel arm yet.
They only moved like this.
Yeah.
11 was sold on a card, 4 with a vehicle, and 1 mail-away. Let's look at the figures from Series 1. Breaker, Alvin R. Kibbe. He was a communications officer. He came with a radio, a backpack, and a helmet.
He had a blonde beard, I think.
He did,
right?
I believe.
Cobra, the enemy with a sniper rifle.
There you go. Cobra Officer, another enemy with a rifle.
He had different color masks.
Yes, he had different color mask. One was silver, I think one was black.
Yep. Next up, Flash. Anthony Gambello, he came with a laser rifle. He had like this orange vest thing, right?
Yep, he had a power pack.
And a power pack, and he had a really cool helmet that had a flip down visor.
Yes. He was a laser rifle trooper.
Laser rifle trooper, right?
Grunt, Robert Graves. He was an infantry trooper. He came with an M16 rifle, a combat pack, and as you see, a helmet. Getting a trend here. All the G.I. Joes come with a helmet.
Yep. Then we had Rock and Roll. His name was McConnell?
Craig McConnell.
Craig McConnell. Yes. Craig McConnell. He was the machine gunner. He had a heavy machine gun and came with a helmet.
They all come with helmets. Every boy's favorite, Scarlet, Shannon M. O'Hara, was a counterintelligence. She came with an XK-1 power crossbow.
It says something to me that actually the Baroness was my favorite.
Oh, really?
Character.
Brian's evil. Yeah. That figure actually sold better than most female figures.
Wow. Redhead.
I know.
Short Fuse, who
That's
was
you.
Eric W. Friedstadt. He was the mortar soldier. Came with an M1 81mm medium mortar, an ammo pack, and a helmet. I think I had him.
Next up, everyone's favorite G.I. Joe figure from this line, the mysterious Snake Eyes. He came with a submachine gun, explosive pack. I had Grunt and Snake Eyes were the first two figures from G.I. Joe that I had.
Yeah, and this was before he was a ninja.
That's before he was a ninja.
He was just a commando.
Just a soldier at this point.
Yeah.
Not sure why he wore a full mask. But
Right.
Okay.
This is a cool looking figure. Stalker. Lonzo Wilkinson. He was a ranger. He came with an M32 submachine gun. And he had a beret. Remember,
Yeah.
he had the beret and the camo?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they really made each one individual.
And they look great.
They really did look
Yeah.
good. That's why they sold so well.
Yeah.
Zap. Rafael Melendez. He was the bazooka soldier. He came with a bazooka. Remember that? This big bazooka.
Yeah.
An ammo pack. And, of course, a helmet.
Now, the first mail-away figure was Cobra Commander himself. This would have been the silver-faced Cobra Commander.
Do you remember? Did you mail away for it? I did.
No, I
had
think
the
I
Cobra
got
Commander.
him later.
I had the Cobra Commander. So the mail away, interesting fact, didn't know this till I did research. There are two versions. There's a regular version and there's what they call a Disney version. The Cobra on him looks like it has Mickey ears.
Oh, okay.
So it had like...
Is that one more rare?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's called the Disney version, which I thought
I didn't know that.
It has no connection to Disney.
Yeah.
There were also 4 figures that came with vehicles. The heavy artillery laser came with Grand Slam.
The mobile missile system came with Hawk.
He's the leader, right?
That was a cool figure. At that time, I think he was
Hawk's
the leader.
The leader.
Yeah,
He-
until Duke.
And he's not even sold on a card. He sold at a thing.
Yeah.
The Mobat tank came with Steeler.
And the Vamp attack vehicle came with Clutch.
There were also some vehicles that didn't come with figures. There was an attack cannon called the Flak.
There was a jetpack called Jump.
And there was a missile command headquarters, there was Cobras, that came with 3 figures. It came with Cobra, Cobra Officer, and the Cobra Commander, and it was a Sears exclusive. As you know, back in the 70s and 80s, Sears had a lot of exclusives.
They really had some cool stuff.
A lot of Star Wars stuff, a lot of
Star Wars
Mego stuff.
Yeah, I think that's where I got my big alien figure.
Oh, probably.
When I was a kid. This was the silver mask Cobra Commander
Yes.
still?
Yeah.
What, do you know when the hood comes in? Remember the hooded one?
We'll get there.
Yeah, okay.
Well, our plan is to go through all of the different series of this early
Yeah.
G.I. Joe, like we're doing with Star Wars, like we're doing with
Yeah.
Justice League, like we're doing with Mego. This will be added onto our monthly, bi-monthly. We're going to look at the Wave 2. Wave 2
Yeah.
has the arms. Also left, they had a rapid-fire motorcycle called the Ram, and they had an official collector's display case. What toy didn't at this time?
I don't remember what the display case looked like.
It looks like this.
Oh.
It looked just like a box. It was just a box. It wasn't like
Yeah.
the Star Wars ones were shaped
Yeah,
like...
the characters, yeah.
I should have bought that C-3PO the other day.
I can't believe you didn't.
I passed on it. I'll get it at some point. Next year.
You need the fader.
So that's it. Wave 1 consisted of these 16 figures, a couple of vehicles, a really cool playset. Then the next series, we get the movable arms.
The swiveled, yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Become a member, and you'll get exclusive content. You'll get to see the blooper reel on this one. This went a lot longer than it should have. Also get unedited versions. You also get special emojis and special icons, so when you comment, they pop up. You get to pick them. We have a lot of exclusive for our members. If you don't feel comfortable doing a monthly membership, you can hit the 3 dots and give us a thank you for any amount of money. Any amount of money helps us build this channel, build the things we show to you. We'd love to have that Missile Command headquarters. Well, Fantastic Four #1. Thanks for those of you that subscribe. Thank you. If this is your first time with us, please subscribe. Please comment. We love our interactions with our subscribers.
Absolutely. We learn a lot from you guys.
We do. We reply to every single comment made, and it even drives us on new ideas too. Big suggestions. If you become a member, you are, you're guaranteed to get a suggestion of a video we'll do. Brian will research. Thanks for watching. Love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
We'll see you next time. Yo, Joe.
I didn't know Larry Hama created so many of the G.I. Joe characters.
Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.